while since I filmed a tag, so I figured it was high time I rectified that. So brace yourselves for the mid-year book freakout tag. Hi guys, it's Sam. I hope you guys are doing really well. I have decided to film a tag today because it's been far too long since I have filmed a tag, and the tag is a mid-year book freakout tag. I believe the tag originated originally on a blog. Eli Jane or Ellie Jane, and then also a YouTuber, I believe, took it and put it onto Booktube. And that channel was Read Like Wildfire, so I will link them both down below. And I don't think I've been tagging this tag, but it seemed like a fun one to do, and we're over halfway through the year, so I figured that it was high time I did it. So let us get started. First question is the best book you have read so far in 2015. Hands down, that is going to go to Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. This was one of the best books that I have read in a very, very long time. It is right up there for me with the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter books, which are two of my favorite book series. Particularly Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings probably is one of my all-time favorite book series, and this one is right up there with The Fellowship of the Ring, which is my favorite book. Absolutely loved it. It was just amazing. I have not had a book affect me this way in a long time. I cried, I laughed, I cried some more. There was a lot of crying. A lot of crying was done, which is really hard to do, by the way, so kudos to Robin Hobb too, bringing tears to my eyes, but this was an excellent, excellent book. Question number 2 is the best sequel you have read so far in 2015. Of course, I could give this one to another Robin Hobb book, but I would like to branch out from that a little bit. But I'm actually going to give this one to Lyriel by Garth Nix. This is a sequel to Sabriel, and I actually like this one a lot more than Sabriel. I thought it was a really good book. I was more invested in the characters, particularly Lyriel. However, Sam was incredibly annoying, but luckily it wasn't all about him. So I really enjoyed it, and I still need to read Out of Horton. I'm hopefully going to do that before the end of the year. Question number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet, but one that you really want to. It actually hasn't been released yet, but I do intend to pre-order it, and I cannot wait to get it. And it is the Harry Potter Illustrated Edition. It comes out next month. Gorgeous illustrations. It's from the Sorcerer's Stone. I don't know if they're going to continue on doing the rest of the books, but I hope they do. I know I already have 2 sets of Harry Potter books, the new paperbacks and my original hardbands I got as the books were being released, but I cannot pass up this illustrated edition because it is so beautiful. I mean, Harry Potter was a big part of my childhood, so I cannot wait to get this book. It's going to be fantastic. Question number 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This was originally going to be The Thorn of Emberlane by Scott Lynch until he pushed it back till 2016. Still crying about that. Other than that, I really don't have I don't follow releases that much, so I don't really pay that much attention to newer books coming out. I guess I'd have to say the new Rick Riordan book. I am excited about that one. I still need to finish up the last book and a half of the Heroes of Olympus series, which I will definitely do before I read his book. Should happen the next month or so. So I just cannot wait to get to his new book because I really like his writing style and I find it humorous and a lot of fun. Question number 5 is the biggest disappointment. I have 2 books for this one. The first one is one that I read a few months ago, and that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I was extremely disappointed in this book. I have never felt so frustrated and angry towards characters like I have until I read this book. Which I guess is good. It did invoke a strong emotion in me, but I hated the storyline, I hated the premise, I hated everybody in it. I could not wait until the book was over. It was a disappointment because I really like Charlotte Bronte's works. I've so far read Shirley and Jane Eyre by her and I really enjoyed it. I still need to check out Anne. Hopefully I will like her as well, but so far Emily did not impress me with Wuthering Heights. The second one is going to go to Seraphina by Rachel Hartman. I read this one last month. I was really looking forward to it. I love myself a good dragon fantasy. Fortunately, it did not fulfill that hope. It was not very good at all. It just was not my cup of tea. It was very sad. I was very disappointed with it. It was quite dull, so that was sad. Question number 6 is the biggest surprise. I'm going to give that to Fuzzy Nation by John Scalzi. This is my first John Scalzi novel, so I had no idea what to expect going into it. I'm not the biggest reader of sci-fi. I used to like it a lot in middle school, but as I have grown up, I've kind of grown out of sci-fi. It's not my favorite genre anymore, but I was actually pleasantly surprised at this one. It was a great book. It was hilarious. It has some good courtroom drama. The main character I just thought was kind of funny, and I just really enjoyed it, and so this was definitely become one of my new favorite books. Question number 7 is a new favorite author. This is either a debut author or someone who's just new to you. I'm going to have to give this one to Robin Hobb as well. I did read Assassin's Apprentice, the first book ever read by her, in December, but I read all of her books so far this year, but all the rest of the books I read this year. So I'm going to give it to Robin Hobb. Definitely one of my new all-time favorite authors. Definitely an auto-buy author. I absolutely adore her work and I love her writing. As I said in another video, she could talk about butter and I would still buy it and read it because I just love how she writes. Question number 8 is your newest fictional crush. To be honest, I don't actually have crushes on characters really. I don't get infatuated that way, so I really don't have an answer for this question because I don't have a crush on any book characters. I know, I'm weird that way. Now, if it was TV, on the other hand, Merlin, definitely Colin Morgan, but that's another video. Question number 9 is the newest fictional character. Definitely the Fool from the Robin Hobb books. As you can tell, this is the year of Robin Hobb for me. Love the Fool. The Fool is definitely, hands down, one of my all-time favorite literary characters. Fantastically complex, full of compassion and humor and intelligence and wisdom, and I just love this character so much. The Fool seriously is one of the best well-drawn characters I have read in a very, very long time. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. Yes. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy. I'm going to go with The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. I started reading the Heroes of Olympus series this year, and I love his books. They make me laugh, and I love that about them. I just find them to be so much fun, and they put a smile on my face every time. I have read the first 4 so far, or I'm partway through the 4th one, and I just love them so much. I've read them all this year so far, and they're just great because Rick Riordan just has a way. His humor just is perfect for me. It's definitely my kind of humor, and it just makes me happy. Question number 12 is your favorite book to film adaptation you have seen this year. I haven't actually seen that many, particularly for newer books, so I'm going to go with some classics. I just watched Persuasion last night with Kieran Hines, and I love that version of Persuasion. They do that love letter so well. Seriously, Persuasion has the best love letter in literary history, and that scene is done amazingly in that movie. I've seen it before this year, but I'm still going to go with it because I just watched it. Question number 13 is your favorite book review that you have filmed this year, or really booktube video. For this, I'm actually going to go with the Farseer trilogy review and discussion that I did for Robin Hobb's books at the beginning of the year after I finished Assassin's Quest. I was really happy with how this one came out. I'm not always totally pleased with my book reviews because I feel like I don't do a very good job of explaining things. I've been told I do, but just me personally, sometimes I feel like they could be done better. But this one I actually felt really happy with. It was one of the few I've done that I just actually really liked how it turned out, and I will link it down below if you guys are curious to see it. Question number 14 is the most beautiful book that you have purchased this year or received as a gift. I am going to go with In Search of Lost Dragons by Karine M. and Elian Blackmore. I got this one in March, I think. It is a graphic novel, arch graphic novel, and it is full of just absolutely stunning pictures of dragons. And I love it to bits. It's seriously one of the most beautiful books I have ever seen. I still like to just pull it out and look at it just because the pictures are just so stunning and well drawn, and I just can never get over it. Plus dragons. Like, look at this. That's a unicorn dragon, people. A unicorn dragon. And finally, question number 15 is what books do you need to read by the end of this year? I don't have any set in stone plans. I tend to go month by month what I want to read, so I don't really have any grandiose ideas of what I would like to complete. I do know that I want to reread The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy this year. It's been far too long since I have done that. I used to read them pretty much once every year, but I kind of stopped that about 5 or 6 years ago. I just got sidetracked with other things. So I do want to complete rereading those by the end of the year, and I also want to finish reading all of Robin Hobb's books before the end of the year. And I only have 5 left, so that should be pretty feasible because I've been reading about 2 a month, so I anticipate doing that as well. But really, those are my only big plans for what I plan on reading for the rest of this year. Alright guys, that is it for the mid-year book freak out tag. I don't really know who all has done this, so I will tag a couple of people down below. If you guys are interested in doing it, please feel free to do so. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, happy reading! Bye!